What's up? And welcome back, Twisted Metal 2 World Tour! We are running out of characters! There's only so many left! We played Grasshopper last time. We played all these. Roadkill's last. Rest assured, if you're wondering, Roadkill is last. We played Twister. We played Axel. We played Mr. Slam. We played Shadow. We played Sweet Tooth. We haven't played Minion yet, and we haven't played Hammerhead. We played Outlaw 2. We played Warthog. We played Mr. Grimm. That means, Hammerhead. Gotta be it. Mike and Stu, a Twisted Metal poem by Mike and Stu. The clouds are the place we want to be, far above where we can see. Down women's shirts. The end. They're just boys with a dream. Who am I to deny them? Los Angeles. For easily the biggest car in this game next to Minion, probably. Alright, I forget what their special is. Oh god, they are unruly. Alright, well, let's see what I can do. What? Oh, God. Alright, kind of a weird tackle. So, Hammerhead is unironically one of my favorite characters of 1 and 2. Just because they're just some dude bros having a good time. Like, I think they stole the monster truck in the first game. I could be wrong on that part. But getting my hands on it, I can see where they probably got some inspiration for Darkseid in Twisted Metal Black. Darkseid was in the first game too, but I think their special is different than this. I think it was just a laser, which sucked. I'll be real. Yeah, all right. This is not the special for me. That's all right. But yeah, I feel that Hammerhead is representative of the people who play Twisted Metal. Like, they're in it for the fun. They're in it for the shenanigans. They're in it for the fucking sick tunes. And, you know, a lot of times, if you played this in your youth, whether it be as a young adult or lower, you probably want some babes, man. Oh, the Twister did not have a good time there. All right, I'll try it again. I just don't feel like it works very well for me. Clicking it. No. Sorry guys, I tried. I think I'll just stick to old reliable. Both power missiles and homing missiles are my old reliables. As if your special doesn't do a lot of damage, or in this case, it's just hard to get off, power missiles are the way to go. And if enemies are too far away, fuck them up from afar with the homing missile. Who needs to aim? Alright. Outlaw 2. Breaking the law, breaking the law. No. I'll break the law, alright. With my fucking car. I just don't understand why it isn't triggered very often. It's another one like, I forgot who now, but I said in one of the other cars, oh, Mr. Slam, where it's like, yeah, when it works, I guess, but it doesn't work very often. You have to be under favorable conditions. Alright, yeah, fuck it. We've seen it at least once, and that's all that matters. I'm too slow to rotate. Breaking the law, breaking the law. Plus, my car looks sick. Look at that person on the left right there. That is barely a concept right there. Like 2 arms, maybe some hair. A hat, I think, that looks kind of like the hair. Or no, the suit. Raised dove, man. Alright. Grim, Mortimer. I always call him Mortimer because I love Mortimer. My Mortimer, especially. I mentioned it in the Mortimer the Shadow playthrough, but my character, Mortimer McHale, he's inspired by a lot of things, but the first, like, seeds of the character, I would say, got started when I watched the Mortimer ending and him and Calypso interacted. It just seemed so great. Alright. Use my great weight in order to crush these cars, hopefully. Lucky. This guy's gonna go flying through the bars. A pretty dumb moment, but I'm gonna say he hits like a truck. Of course. Just stay in front of me. Yeah, because look at all that damage. Oh. That's pretty metal. So, since there's not really a lot to say about Hammerhead, you know, first game, I believe it was 2 different dudes. They, nabbed a car, and when asking for their wish, the canon ending for that one was, they're like, we want some new tires, man. Like, it's just expensive. Flips was like, okay, fine. And then they thought about it on the way out. I was like, dude, we should have entered next year and asked for more. The better ending comes from the lost ending, which is Calypso sitting on his pile of broken cars and stuff. He's like, come on, guys, there's got to be something that you want. And they take a moment and just stare at Calypso's babes in bikinis. And like, we want babes! And then immediately, no hesitation, Calypso's like, done! Like, hell yeah, man! like 4 chicks get in their monster truck and they peel out. Like, fuck yeah. Like, he didn't even want to twist the wish. He's just like, oh, fuck yeah. I'm with you, bro. 2, you'll see what 2 gets you. They want to, sounds like they want to fly, in my opinion. And in 3, it's actually a different driver. And it's only one driver. Granny Dread, I do believe, is the name. Granny Dread is more like Thumper. Because Thumper's wish in 3 is he wants to hang with his homies. But of course, Calypso gonna fuck with him. With Granny Dread, she takes over the spot of, I want to defend my neighborhood. I want it to be peaceful again. Tired of my neighborhood being blown up by this fucking Twisted Metal contest. So I want to stay home and watch my stories. And of course, because no one gets a happy ending in Twisted Metal 3, their wish becomes a Clockwork Orange style, stuck at home, eyelids peeled back so that she can watch her stories, but it's more akin to torture than it is anything else. So. Not as great of an ending. They're not in black, that I remember. They're definitely not in 4 as a matter playable character. Because most of the characters that were taken away in 4 were still there. They just were boss cars. Like, even Simon Littlebone, his Thumper or whatever, Mr. Slam. There's Super Slam instead, and Super Augur, who's not too different. He's there. But they're a tag team fight. So you can't have one without the other. I'm pretty sure Hammerhead could have been one of those bosses. And if it's not, well, I would have been surprised if it was. Because 4 did something a little different than the rest of the franchise. Yeah, literally all the franchise. Where it had a boss for every level. I felt it was kind of excessive. But, you know, it's... Small Brawl ended up being the last one in the franchise, but it was the 4 is the last one that 989 Studios made, and it was in the 90s. So I would say they were probably trying to end the series off in a interesting enough way. But I have no backing to prove that. That's the impression I get. Like, let it never be said that we don't have everyone. And let's make this the most epic game we can. For them, that probably was true. And once again, 4 is overall one of my favorites, if not my favorite, because I like its aesthetic, I like its style, I like how the cars handle. The new drivers are somewhat interesting. I have some of my favorites out of them. I like the PS1 commercial that came with the game, or not came with the game, but was advertised back then with live action Sweet Tooth and his minions and stuff, and the ice cream truck. If you haven't seen those, I recommend popping it in on YouTube. It's pretty cool. A charm that honestly is so lost nowadays. Like, when I think of the 90s, of course I think of my childhood, but I think of a time when fun was more a thought than the profit that would be made. Like, of course, of course they're doing these things to make a profit. There's no question about that. You don't have the backing to make these things unless you have a profit to come out. Like, these are people's lives on the line. You know, they work for years sometimes, and on more crunch-based studios, only a few months. But when I think of like 90s commercials or things, like it's always fun. Great example is the popsicle commercial for the one that, well, actually a lot of them, actually all of them were fun. But the one I favor is the kid's got the one that changes colors, like you can lick off layers and whatnot. He licks off a layer, everything changes. He does it again, everything changes. And he just turns to his dog and goes, "The colors, Duke, the colors!" And then the dog speaks to him. He's like, "I'm colorblind, kid." And it cuts to the dog's point of view, and everything's gray, and the kid's just like, "Huh?" Like, that's just fun. Like, nothing wrong with that. Airhead commercials, that was similar to that. The cinema, or, yeah. Here I come, I am cinema, for Apple Jacks. Like, that's great. But when it comes to video games, the best one I can think of is the Pokemon, or no, not Pokemon. I'll get to that in a second. Is the the Smash Brothers, yeah, Super Smash Brothers commercial, where it's all, it's I think Mario, Pikachu, Donkey Kong, and Yoshi in mascot costumes in real life, wandering through a meadow with the me and you, I think and then Pikachu fucking trips Mario, and then the fucking Donnybrook starts just beating the shit out of each other, and then the game gets advertised and whatnot. Call it a day. Like, that's hilarious to me. Pokemon. When Pokemon was first coming out, they advertised the Game Boy games. The best one I can think of is the bus driver one, where there's a bus driver who is called all these Pokemon. He's like, "Hey, little buddy, you want to go for a ride?" Pika, yeah, whatever. Just like trying to lure them on the bus. Pikachu gets on the bus. There's all these other Pokemon in there, and he's like, "I'll be right back." And he gets off, and they're in the middle of a crusher that squishes all the bus into a Game Boy, advertising Pokemon Red and Blue. And afterwards, the dude's just like sitting down, busless, but playing on it on his Game Boy and chuckling to himself. Like, that's fucking great, man. Or even, and you know, Nintendo honestly had a lot of the really great game commercials. We know how Nintendo's attitude is towards things, especially like, as of recording this today, they're getting the paid to own the concept of summon something to battle another thing, particularly like an animal or something. Yeah. So they try to hammer their properties in as much as they can. They want no one to say we don't own this, and they don't want anyone else to take credit for things that they're popular for. But when it comes to the fun, whimsical side of things, back in the 90s, I think of Hey You Pikachu, the commercial where a little kid is talking to his N64 controller, because it's got the attachment to the microphone and stuff, and telling Pikachu to do stuff. There's a bulldog on the couch just sitting there bored watching this, because he's like, he doesn't play with me anymore because he's got Pikachu now. And he's like, meanwhile, I'm getting fat. Where's the love? Then the end of the commercial like shows Pikachu playing a trumpet, and then it cuts the dog with the trumpet in his hand and blowing it really poorly. Looking for love here. Holding on. I think of the 90s as fun. These kind of games are meant to be played for a blast. And I think they achieved that. Like, there's not too many games that play like this, you know? This is a car combat battle royale, people would term nowadays, but I would say like just a rumble where there's only so many enemies, but they're all important. They all are part of the franchise. Like, it's like saying I'm playing Mortal Kombat against all the characters simultaneously at once. Like, that's a hard task to do. Yet, you know, everything's about as even playing field as it can get. Best you got is 2 extra lives versus everybody else. But of course, they show back up in every other level, so it's like, yeah. Poor dude. Oh god, I hope I make it. Oh, I've never been to the top floor of this. That's cool. What's that? Fire missile. Okay, cool. I thought I discovered something extra special. I had never heard of this part, so glad I have not been missing out. Also, old Crash Bandicoot commercials and Spyro and stuff like that. Those were pretty. It's not just Nintendo that's got the whimsy about them. In fact, PlayStation, solid competition, I think. Now, I didn't grow up with a N64. I wish I did. It would have been great. But had I had to make a choice between PlayStation and Nintendo 64, yeah, I would. It would be hard, knowing what I know now. I picked PlayStation. Like, it did what an N64 did anyway, but it also felt like a lot of care went into their fan base, and that especially followed up with PlayStation 2. Where the games were even backwards compatible. You could play them. You could have internet access if you hooked up your Ethernet cable, I believe. And, you know, while Nintendo 64 was more popular for having pick up and play games that 4 people could play, the PlayStation still had a multi-tap that you could get. Play games like Crash Team Racing or Crash Bash, I think is what it's called, the Mario Party variant. You know, Crash kind of did what Mario was doing back then. Like nowadays, you don't hear many people talking about Crash at all. And that's because before the Insane Trilogy remake came out, they didn't do anything. Which is kind of sad, but, you know, it's how it goes. Sometimes it takes waiting a little bit. Sometimes it just takes re-release for people to get interested again. Now, like, chances are you're watching this right now because you either bought some of the PlayStation Store stuff for the games, or you are watching the Twisted Metal show that Peacock is putting on, which I wish I could watch. I'll watch someday. Like, you were curious, or, you know, it was part of your childhood. Thus, you wanted to watch something else, you know? Or you're just watching me, which I appreciate that if you are, because honestly, yeah, I'm playing with cheat codes, because I'm here to vibe, I'm here to chill, I'm here to have fun with y'all and whatnot, and I know I'm not great at these games, and I'll fully admit that. I'll play them for fun and talk to you guys. Because if you were here for the gameplay, like just the gameplay, you'd watch anybody else that's just doing silent commentary. Which I do silent videos, but that's mostly because I don't have the ability to record those days, and I still want to make content for y'all. I appreciate you guys being here. When I'm able, I'll do it myself, but if not, oh shit. You know, that's when I'll do like some Soul Calibur, or a fighting game, or, you know, recent thing for Twisted Metal was Twisted Metal 3. I did all the characters, and I also did small, well, I did a little small, but I was gonna say, Head On. Because y'all voted. Y'all wanted an individual video for every character for these games, and I will happily do that. Because I think these characters also do deserve love. Now, while the gameplay itself is the exact same, it doesn't mean that every character is going to have the same. No. Like, I'm slow, I'm clunky, I might glitch through a wall like I did in the other one. Holland, Field of Screams. But yeah, no matter what, I'm just glad to have you guys here. And we're having fun, we're having a cool time. Growing up with PlayStation, I had a lot of fun choices to pick from. I had Spyro, I had Medieval, I had Soul Reaver, I had Ape Escape. Ape Escape is the fucking shit, and if you don't know about Ape Escape, you need to hop on my playthrough of Ape Escape or watch somebody else do it if you want to, that's fine. But legit, like, Ape Escape. That is what I consider the PlayStation. I know there are other choices out there, but that's the one I think of that encapsulates the PS1 very well. It's the first game to require an a DualShock controller, which is, if you're not familiar, we didn't always have the left and right stick. That came out after the fact, I believe, in response to Nintendo 64 having their controller with a joystick, so that movement was kind of an important part. Because older controllers were just like 3 to 6 buttons a lot of the time. But with N64, you had an analog stick, center of your controller, which was used to aim or move your character or whatever the need may be. And the game also had a D-pad on the other side, but a lot of the time you really don't need a D-pad. More games were focused on that stick. And 99, I believe, was when Ape Escape came out. They obviously were working on technology and made left and right stick essential for that game. You could not play it without a DualShock controller. But I don't know if the game would refuse to start, because I've always had DualShock controllers. But I'm telling you now, if you play that game, you'll find out, like, using the left stick is, I believe, movement. Right stick was using your gadget that's equipped at the time. You had to press the face buttons to change which gadget you were using. Jump was on R1 and R2. I forget what L1 and L2 was. But, they were camera buttons. The The game wanted you to like swing with your like stun baton that you got in the game by swinging your stick button or you know what I'm saying, the joystick. It wanted you to spin it in a circle if you were using the propeller thing that you had. Or if you had a net, you know, it was also swing to like smack in that direction. But you could also rotate it if you wanted to turn it around somewhere. There was so much. There was a fucking slingshot in there. You had to aim. Like, innovative, creative. And nowadays, could you imagine having a console that doesn't have 2 sticks? Like, I don't want to. You know, I grew up in it. I played Sega Genesis and I had Atari growing up. They were my parents, of course, because I didn't pick those. But I don't remember anything about the Atari, but I know I played it. I've been told. And the Genesis, oh, I've spent so much time with Genesis. Oh, Lord, yes. In fact, I got me a Genesis emulator recently. Although it doesn't seem to record very well. Like, it's not very user-friendly. Okay, I might look for a different one. Yeah, I spent a lot of fucking time with Genesis. To the point where my CRTV back then, after many years of having it, the Sega Genesis being on top of the TV, it started to melt, which caused the vision of the screen to become snowy, staticky, and I don't think emit any noise anymore besides the static. So, like, when I say melty, I mean plastic goo on top of the TV. It was warped. I had to get rid of that, sadly. Or maybe I put it somewhere else. It's been a while. Those, like, everyone tried to be innovative with their system. Nintendo is the most creative when it comes to making a console, or a controller rather, for that console. Because, think about it. You have the older, like the NES and the SNES. I don't know which one of them had the left and right button first, but that was the start of that. It had the buttons for. Then, when the N64 came out, they put a dick in the middle of the fucking controller that had the analog stick on it. Meanwhile, also having a Z button put on the back of the controller, I believe. I have my controller over here. I have a Z button on the back of it, and a port for you to put a cartridge in case you wanted a rumble function or an extended memory pack or whatever it's called. Like, creative. And then GameCube, it became more handheld, like a PlayStation or a Xbox controller. More reasonable to use, I feel. But still, the buttons look kind of weird. I don't think anyone can deny that. And, you know, all the consoles, Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo, when they make a new controller, you know, their button schemes are the same for each of their controllers just about, but it's different than everybody else's. So I'm playing with my controller that I got off of Amazon. I like to emulate, slash, play gamepad accessible games on my computer because I don't bust out my consoles much. And so they usually make those in the style of Xbox. I did find one that was PlayStation style, and it's been very fun. It's one of these. But, you know, if you're using a PlayStation controller, X is on bottom, square is left, circle is right, and triangle up. The Xbox style that most gamepads are using which is what's listed on my thing, but I know from memory, so I don't get confused. We have Y on top. We have X on the left instead of on the bottom. We have A to the bottom and B to the side, right side. And then Nintendo, fork color in here, got BA, and then the C buttons, which are just like another D-pad technically, but the Nintendo Switch and whatnot, kind of gamepad slash GameCube, you got your X on top, Y on left, A on the right, and B on the bottom. Like, they keep changing shit, you know, for all these consoles. So no one's quite sure when you say, press the X button. It's like, oh, which X button? Depends on what it was centered around. But Nintendo consoles are always different. The GameCube was in a different shape than their competitors. It had a little handle in the back. It had ability to play Game Boy Advance games if you put on the attachment to it. It had a smaller disc size than the other competitors at the time. But, you know, it had some of the fun games. Definitely really fun games. Then the Wii came out, and then they're like, well, fuck all that together. Here's motion control. And a different button layout than you're used to. How do you feel about 1 and 2? Like, huh? But, you know, they innovated. They made something new. The market hadn't seen it before. And then we got things like the Kinect. And then we got the Move. Those were PlayStation and Xbox. You know, they were similar to the Move, but, or the Wii, but wasn't quite it. In fact, PlayStation was going to be the CD-based version to their stuff, but they backed out of a deal before it came to fruition, and so now Sony was like, "Well, fuck it, we'll still rock it, work this hard on it, and made one of the most fun consoles." Now, N64, I think, has kind of smoother graphics than PlayStation. Like, you can see polygons are just jutting out everywhere. But that's fine. It's still a good one. Woo! PlayStation does textures really well. Like, I'm a fan of the Silent Hill games. And Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 2 have great fog. And it's hard to replicate that beyond the consoles that they were on. The emulators do really well. You can get pretty much the same. When they made the HD collection, oh, it was trash. It was not HD. Oh, they half-assed that shit. I won't go into all the details of that, but just know, if you have the option, do not get it. Just play the other version however you can, whether it's buy it or emulate it. It's just not that way. Alright, Dark Tooth. Time to wreck some shit. I think you're confused. You've been hanging out in the harbor for a little too long. Well, you are the last boss. Maybe I'll see if this will work. Pretty mean. I say to the head. Yeah, I don't know what to do about his thing. I think I heard once that it's a command that you have to do on top of pressing the button. But can't say I know. won't claim it. But the important part is, we just killed Darktooth, and we are the winner. Prepare to meet Calypso in New York and claim your ultimate prize. Huzzah! Let's hear it out. I love this ending.
Hammerhead raced across the rooftops of New York. Inside, Mike and Stu, the drivers of the truck, were salivating.
Yahoo! We're here, man! We made it, bro! Little beaches, babes, farm animals, Hawaii's in our grass, bro! Yes!
What can I do for you, gentlemen?
We won the game, right? So you gotta give us our prize. Well, we want... No, dude. Say demand. Okay. We demand that you give us the ability to fly.
Certainly.
That is so cool.
Congratulations. I have granted your wish. Have a great time in the friendly skies.
Let's go! Wahoo! Hey, man, this can't be right. Whoa!
Good thing these first-class tickets are refundable.
Oh my God, I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
I am Calypso, and I thank you for playing Twisted Metal.
Oh my god, I can't believe it. Yeah, that's a clever change of the wish. I like that. That's really fun. Poor Hammerhead. They're just some dude bros. Now, that being said, of course, they killed innocent people. You know, they get what they get. I guess that's the real important thing to remember at the end of the day, out of all these. No matter if they deserve to get fucked over or not, whether their wish is for good reasons or just for personal gain, they still are killing massive amounts of people. These drivers constantly, people on the street get run down. It happens, you know. And so you can't feel that bad. But if you win the favor of the devil, then maybe you'll get a wish that lines up with what you want instead of what he wants. But anyway, that was Hammerhead in Twisted Metal 2 World Tour. We have but 2 cars left. Which one's going to be next? Let's find out. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate having you here. My name is Captain Zane, and I thank you for watching Twisted Metal.